Okay, I think we're ready. Great. Call to order. Ms. Lobley, would you take the attendance, please?
Eric Boyer,
Present.
Emily Gaiman, absent. Timothy Carney,
Here.
Nicole King, here. Candy Cruz,
Present.
Stephen Maud,
Present.
Mary Jo Reinhardt,
Here.
Melissa Torba,
Here.
Christopher Wyatt,
Here. Who said here?
Remotely on phone.
present by phone.
Gotcha.
Okay, thank you. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, first order of business is visitors' comments. We have one so far. Chris Sikora.
All right. Good evening. Hey, I'm Chris Sikora. Got a third grader at Hopewell. He's having a great year so far, so I'm happy about that. First, let me give congratulations to Dr. Trinkle on her appointment as superintendent. Congratulations. At this point, I don't care as much about the process as I care about the progress. Our community deserves a district focused on what really matters for kids and families, and hopefully one that stays out of the newspaper for the wrong reasons. I truly wish Dr. Trinkle the best of success because all our kids are counting on it, you know. Now, I recently read just over a week ago, not in a local newspaper, but that First Lady Melania Trump launched a nationwide presidential AI challenge to get students and educators solving real problems with artificial intelligence. I think that's really cool. And it's actually no secret that I don't agree with Melania's politics or that of her husband, but the message there is clear. Education policy is moving fast, and the rest of the country isn't waiting. But unfortunately, here in Southern Lehigh, our policy committee has been on pause since April 14th, when the majority voted to put it on hold. And then just 2 weeks later, that same majority voted again to keep it on pause. It hasn't restarted since. So that's almost 5 months of no board reviews, no updates, and no progress. And here's the warning sign. I saw in a previous meeting presentation, public presentation here, that we already have a draft policy on AI use and misuse sitting on the shelf, yet no one is reviewing it apparently. At the very moment when schools everywhere are grappling with AI's impact on teaching, learning, and student safety, the work here has stalled. Even Allentown School District has a policy, and I heard they're forming some sort of new school focused on AI even. We're obviously not going to do that, but they have a policy. Meanwhile, Dr. Trinkle's contract, I noticed, sets a specific goal to integrate AI thoughtfully into curriculum and instruction. That goal is unachievable without clear, up-to-date board policy. If we want our superintendent to succeed and our students to be ready, the board must do its part. Let's be clear, it was this new majority that voted twice to pause the committee, and now under President Mon, they've left it sitting there. It's unlikely they want Ms. Gaiman, the former president they forced out, still leading that committee. And they definitely didn't want our former HR director leading it. Fine, then reorganize it. Join it yourselves. After all, you're in charge now, so take charge. That's what leadership is supposed to mean. My ask tonight is simple. Put the policy committee on the agenda for an upcoming meeting. I know you can't do it tonight. Unpause it, figure out who can lead it, get back to work. Southern Lehigh deserves progress and not paralysis. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
That's not the right spreadsheet. No, that's it.
I thought I had a lot of tabs. That's it. Thank you for the comments. At this point, we'll want to approve the minutes. So I'd like a motion to approve the meeting minutes for 8:25. Okay. Mr.
Second.
Carney, second. Ms. Cruz. All in favor? Or comments and questions? Anybody? Okay, all in favor. All
Aye.
opposed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion carries. Sorry, go ahead. Yep.
I'm abstaining because I wasn't here due to a personal health issue
Ah,
with our
okay.
family.
Yep.
So, and didn't watch.
Yeah.
So,
Just see Mrs. Lobley for the form.
Ms. Lobley, did you get that? Thank you. And then we'll get the form filled out.
Yep.
Okay, Dr. Trinkle, your report. Any updates?
I do. I have a brief update. Just over the past week, I've had the opportunity to visit the schools like Hopewell and others, and the energy is unmistakable. Classrooms are alive with learning. Students and teachers are deeply engaged. There's positivity and smiles all over our campus. Our schools are spotless. Our grounds are beautifully maintained, and the entire district reflects the pride we all share at Southern Lehigh. I want to thank every member of our staff and our school community for their contributions to this success. As always, our goal remains unchanged. When our students win, we all win. And every action we take begins with their success in mind. Committee work is underway, and with thoughtful attention to facilities, curriculum, and full-day kindergarten, topics that you'll all hear about in review tonight through committee reports. But I do want to take a moment to publicly thank the members of the board for their dedication and commitment this past weekend. The time and energy you invested represent meaningful and necessary work to make real progress together. The engagement is critical as we strengthen our vision here at Southern Lehigh. So thank you, and that's my report.
Thank you, Dr. Trinkle. Okay, moving on into Section 5, Curriculum and Student Staff Services. Could I have a motion to combine, we have do A, right? A and B, not
Just A.
just A?
A is the
Okay.
presentation.
So we'll start with A, Boys Southern Lehigh Middle School Club Volleyball. I thought that was going to come under your report. Did I push it?
Mr. Spengler is here to provide that presentation for us this evening. Thank you for being here.
Thank
No
you.
problem. Thank you, everyone, for inviting me here. I just want to give a quick update on our varsity high school sports before I talk about middle school club volleyball. Our cross country team girls is 6-0. Our boys cross country team is 5-1. We have our senior night, our home meet on Thursday on September 11th. The race starts at 4 at Upper Saucon Community Park. Field hockey's 3-1, now 4-1. They just beat Bangor today. Football won last week. We're 3-0. We're heading up to North Schuylkill against another state-ranked team. Our football team is currently ranked second in the state, highest in school history right now. Golf is rolling as usual. We're 9-0 there. Boys soccer 3-3, girls soccer 2-2, girls tennis 5-3, and girls volleyball 4-0. Our tennis and golf teams are preparing already for playoffs. They start in about a week or two for league playoffs and district playoffs. But again, I'm here to talk about middle school boys volleyball. It's a club proposal. We had members of the community reached out to myself and Principal Webb at the middle school at the end of last school year, in support of following board policy 123.2. And after having several meetings with Ms. Webb, we felt it was appropriate time to speak on this. I have a handout that I provided for each one of you, so if you just follow along, that'd be great. The start of the season would be March to May, or the start would be in March 2nd. Exactly, that's the start of our sports season. Our goal would be 15 to 20 athletes. Again, we don't know, I shouldn't say, there is no club of volleyball on our youth level, okay? And we don't have a middle school team currently, but we have a high school team. So we currently don't have a feeder program for boys volleyball. It's one of the only exceptions here. And again, our goal for year one would be a 10-game season. Obviously, down the road, we would look to expand. So 15 to 20 players we're looking for. Volleyball team structured locally. There's only, for those of you that don't know volleyball, there's only 6 people on the court at a time. So we're looking to field 2 teams, an A and B team. That's why we're looking at 15 to 20 players. Need for the activity, I kind of mentioned. There's no youth boys volleyball opportunity. Growing interest of boys volleyball in the community. I had 2 people that actually sent me the proposal, but several other emails and phone calls from my office that we desperately need a boys middle school boys volleyball team. EPC Colonial League regular season schedule. So what do I mean by that? Currently, there's only 1 high school team in our league that has middle school volleyball, and that's Notre Dame Green Pond and us. So 2 total. No other teams in the Colonial League actually have middle school boys volleyball, but predominantly our schedules against EPC schools. Okay, the Mayases of the world, Parklands of the world that have the feeder programs. I listed and I reached out to every single one of these schools well in advance. But these are the schools in the area that have middle school programs: Whitehall, Northampton, both Parkland schools, both Emmaus schools, all 4 Allentown middle schools, Nazareth, Easton, and Quakertown. Anticipated impact, it's our only indoor middle school sport it would be. Currently, because we moved, or the league moved, middle school co-ed soccer used to be in the spring. It's now in the fall. So right now our only middle school sports that we have are girls and boys track and girls softball. Okay, so our boys right now in grades 7 through 8, their only option in the spring is track. We don't have any other options that we offer. And again, right now our middle school and junior high programs, we actually have 2 more female sports that we offer at the middle school level. So everyone always asks about the Title IX impact. There would be none. Okay, we would still have more sports that we offer for girls. Staffing, coaches would be school board approved as volunteer coaches. Budget, everything would be privately funded. The people that I spoke to that sent a proposal to me, they're ready to go whenever, if and when this would get school board approved. Obviously, they would pay for transportation, uniforms, officials, equipment, coaching stipends, etc. Anticipated date, again, the start of the season is March 2nd for spring sports. Facility usage is a big one. Again, we don't have any middle school indoor sports in the spring, so they would predominantly use the middle school gym. However, our high school teams use our middle school gym when it rains, right? When it's bad weather. The IS also has the capability to hold practices, so they would get bumped down. Our high school volleyball team would then practice in the middle school gym, and then our baseball and softball teams would be using the cages, so on and so forth, that we have in the high school. So very minimal impact as far as facility usage. Currently, like I said earlier, there are no programs on our community level. Transportation, we would use our standard transportation system service that we have. And as far as building the game schedule, here's what this is everything I would provide. We would look for about 10 games for year 1. I'd reserve practice time. We would schedule officials, securing transportation, providing for a game manager, crowd control, etc. Our athletic trainers would be at all games and practices, and it would be our club would follow PIAA rules, meaning we'd be allowed to play against other teams that are official sports in other schools because we require impact testing, physicals, so on and so forth. So it's pretty basic. I know I'm going to have a couple questions here, and that is it about middle school boys volleyball.
Yeah, I think we'll open it up for questions. Anybody have questions?
Tim had his hand up before me.
Okay, Mr. Carney.
Can you let me know or let us know about the status or interest in female volleyball at the middle school level?
Oh, yeah, it's big. We had, oh my gosh, 35, 40, 45 kids try out for girls volleyball. And in my experiences here, the sports that we have started, for instance, junior high girls wrestling, before we had a program, we had 1 girl on the team. Then we had 11, right? Co-ed middle school soccer, another example, we only had 8 girls try out last year. This year we had 35. So I feel like once the program's established, we'll get those numbers. And again, volleyball is minimal. That's the goal. There's 0 risk for the district, to start out with, because it's private funding. You need 6 people on the team. That would be the minimum. That's all you need for it to start. So it's not like football where you have 11 people on the playing surface. Yep.
Well, it sounds like you have everything pretty much figured out here.
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I
I'll
know
stop.
in the club period, we're talking about private funding, but at some point, I think the goal of most club sports is to become a fully sponsored. Can we talk a little bit about what budget looks like long term for a program like this? Knowing we don't know what cost will look in 3 years, but ballpark what this
Already had about $13,000. Uniforms are about $2,000. Transportation would be about $2,000. Officials, entry fees, and dues $1,600. Startup supplies. Normally, our budget would be roughly $900, but to start up, a new program, I doubled it, $1,800. And then our stipends for next school year, I use an example because I'm following the girls model, right? The head coach stipend would be $34.58 for next year, and the assistant coach stipend for $23.06.
Thank you, Mr.
Yep.
Spengler.
No problem.
Mr. Boyer. Oh,
I think I was last at the table.
Awesome.
Oh, well, you're off the hook. I don't think I'm going to grill you. But so one of the things that I wanted to say was, so when we play back to when we first got on here, girls wrestling, we made an exception against policy to go against what it said for a 3-year minimum as a club to instill. One of the things I'd look to do, or I'm hoping that we do in conjunction with policy review, is to look at that policy to amend it to something that we would consider almost a standard, because now we've set the precedence in one, and now we're doing something different here, which is great from that standpoint. But I also want to make it so that way if there are more sports like bowling, and I'll only say that because I bowl, but if there is other sports like that, that there's clear expectations that we're going to start this and it's going to get started as a club. And once it's established, once there's a rhythm, a cadence, a budget, et cetera, and everything, and you go through a budgetary cycle within the school, that then it would be established as a sport versus just kicking the wheels and saying, okay, we're going to run into this guns blazing. And then vice versa. Now we have a program coming in where they're like, okay, we're going to do private funding. Well, I don't want it to be private funding forever because that's also not fair too. So that would be one of the motions that I would look to say. I was always in favor of a 1-year moratorium, that every sport coming in would be 1-year moratorium on funding. It's funded from outside the school. But with Mr. Spangler and your office / you, would basically help out from a scheduling aspect, getting the buses, getting some of the stuff coordinated for support, but the funding wouldn't necessarily come from the district year one. But when would it come? My stance would be is 1 year would be a 1-year moratorium. It allows you to get that cadence and rhythm, and also how many people do we have, right? Is this going to be sustainable? Is this going to stay, or is it going to dwindle only because we have a grade or two coming through where there is that much interest?
yeah, and then there's a gap,
Correct.
right?
Well, I think just as clarity, I think what we determined in policy committee was not that what we did was against policy. It was just that policy did not require a sport to go into club. And that was one of the conversations we talked about in policy. Like, do we want to force, to your point, like whether it's 1 year or 3 years, I think it's 3 years is kind of the recommendation based off of policy. Or do we allow clubs to go forever? Or could we eliminate club entirely and there'd be fully school sponsored? I think it's probably something, whether, policy committee restarts or comes to the committee of the whole, it would be good to discuss. So
I just think it would be good. So that way, then if there's other sports, like they know what the expectations are coming in.
Mhm.
And instead of this kind of, will it happen? Will it not happen? And then we're stuck in this weird position of what's going to happen.
You have any comments on that, Dr. Trinkle?
Mr.
Oh,
Boyer, I
sorry.
appreciate you bringing that up, and Ms. Cruz for following up. My recollection from the spring of 2024, conversation did come out to look at that policy because 3 years of club, back to Mr. Boyer's point, could be excessive. Could we find a happy medium? So I think what I'm hearing, and hopefully if anyone else wants to engage, that we revisit that and find that happy medium to set the standard, because I'm sensing we have high standards here and we won't accept anything less than maintaining our high standards.
I mean, just to add a little more clarity, in addition, we looked at 123.2 and club was kind of that conversation piece, and wrestling was, but I think that also led to conversation about non-athletic extracurriculars and making sure that we provide appropriate balance. We want our kids to have as much opportunity as we can, whether it's athletic or non-athletic abilities. And I know that a process was started. I'm sure that Dr. Trinkle would be happy to talk about it in the future, about looking at each of those activities, how many kids do they impact, what does the district spend on those to make sure that all kids have access to school-sponsored events that make sense. So
It totally makes sense. I love that. And I would venture when things like this, I would assume boys volleyball, the committee who brought forward to Mr. Spangler and Dr. Webb probably did research to see, as Mr. Spangler pointed out, the potential number of athletes. So I'm with you, Ms. Cruz, on other activities or extracurriculars the district could offer to our students, where the interest lies and how we can support those interests.
I agree that the policy should be looked at. It most current is 2012. That's a long time ago. In addition to the clubs and activities, we already are surveying students at the middle school for additional clubs and activities. We're in the process of doing that now. First, we want to assess what students are interested in. And if we have enough interest, we will pursue those clubs and activities. So we're in process with that, specifically at the middle school to start as an extension of that initial discussion that took place. I think it was in the spring of last year. But I agree that policy could use a little attention. So
If there is bowling, I'm putting in. Just FYI,
You put it in the alleys, right next to our pool.
I'll be coaching.
So that discussion, we would hope to move forward for vote at the next meeting to move forward with a club at the meeting at the end of the month.
I do have a question. And maybe you said it, I apologize, Mr. Spangler, a club for 1 year, or is that up for discussion? Or we would revisit that at the end of a year?
I guess essentially with the board policy that's, in place, that would be kind of up to you guys.
Yeah,
it'd
I
be
mean,
kinda
there's
up to you guys.
a path to request. I mean, I think that's what we kind of determined. I mean, the policy needs some cleanup. We know that.
Right.
So, I mean, I would say that that's probably policy that once we get restarted, whether it's committee of the whole or an individual committee, that
I
we
got
try
it.
and get
Thank
cleaned
you,
up.
Candy. Ms. Cruz.
But on top of that, we've already done it. So in terms of
Well-
that, right? Like there's a way, there's a will and there's a way to make it happen.
Understood. Sorry, thank you, Mr. Spangler, for answering.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
One thing quickly, because I
Sorry.
need to make sure everybody else went first, and I was person behind each time. When you were looking at giving examples on projections of initial versus current participants. Is there a potential projection at this point as to what may happen after year one that anybody has gone through, or you could give us just a basic guideline?
I feel like I talked to other districts clearly
Yeah.
that started middle school volleyball, and some of the districts are bigger. But with my time at East Penn, I was there for 5 years, and I actually ran the EPC middle school schedules, and the program was already set in place. But East Penn has 2 middle schools, so there's 2 teams. They would roughly get about 20 to 25 people trying out at each middle school to start. Based on I've been here less than 2 years. But based on those 2, the junior high girls wrestling and the junior high boys and girls soccer, it's like when you announce a new program, people are going to come out. Like I'm pretty confident, especially because we only have track for boys to do in the spring. And it's a minimal number. If we get 10 kids, we can have a team. If we get 8 kids, we can get a team. If we get 5, we can't have a team. So the key number is 6 or 7, but our goal would be 15 through 20 to field those 2 teams. I'm confident we would meet that based on the people that sent the proposal. Yeah.
And in your experience and expertise then is showing the demand, the future demand is there. And as far as the plans, this is pretty thorough. If you're just give me a percentage of how close you are to having a complete plan for implementation, what would you put a percentage on that, just out of curiosity?
I'm probably at like 90, 95%.
Looks like it.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make
Yeah.
sure I understood.
This would be easy to implement.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spangler. You can combine B and C.
I skipped 4. That was my fault. I make sure that I have at least one mistake to be hung around my neck each meeting. So that was my one. So now we'll move into 5, curriculum, student and staff services. And the goal here will be to combine, if I could have a motion, A and B.
B and C.
Sorry,
A, B, C.
B and C.
Motion. Oh
Second.
yeah, not A. Sorry.
We'll take B and C first.
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Motion carries. Is there any discussion or questions? Does anyone have a question on this?
I asked Dr. Trinkle before, and just to clarify, these are both renewals of things that we've been doing.
That's correct.
Yep.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. That was unanimous. Ms. Lobley. Okay. Yeah. Now we'll move into number 6. Let me just get this paper instead. Sorry. What about C? We did B and C,
You
so
did B
we're
and
into,
C.
yeah.
Yep.
And A, we just,
It's a discussion. Yep. There was
for some
discussion.
reason, I think my paper was mixed up with 4 and 5, so it got me off track here. Okay, number 6, special education and student services. A, specialized educational services agreement between Southern Lehigh and Foundations Behavioral Health for the LifeWorks school year 25-26.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Okay, number 7, technology. I don't think we have anything for technology this week. We have nothing for budget and finance. We have nothing for support services. And now we're moving into human resources. So we have a motion to approve items A and B. Can we combine those? Have a Motion, okay,
Motion.
second. Okay, any comments or questions? Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Ms. Cruz, second. Yeah. All right, committee reports. We'll start off with Mr. Carney.
Did you have any for LCTI? Because I
You
missed
can
that.
go first. I'm
Okay.
not prepared for that.
All right.
Let's go second.
ACMC, 2 applications have been received for the committee's review, and we'll be meeting this week to do that.
Okay.
Education Committee, this will take a little bit longer.
Yep.
We met September 2nd. We received a lot of useful information and some new information. I appreciate the presentation of everybody involved. Full Day K, summer subcommittee meetings were held focused on curriculum. 2 summer meetings were specifically focused on support services. A play-based learning book, Purposeful Play. Thank you, Tamara, for lending me the book to read. That's one of the professional developments. Some of the teachers are reading the book. There's been discussions with 8 other districts on Full Day K implementation. The new website, once launched, will have dedicated space for Full Day K. Grade 3 transition summer subcommittee meetings occurred. I attended one of them. The intent is that there will be meetings throughout this year. School-wide Title I, we're currently a targeted Title I school at the IS and middle school. Summer meetings occurred to move to become school-wide Title I school for the 26-27 school year. Meetings were focused on creating a steering committee, planning needs assessment based on data, goal setting, and action planning. As someone who was an educator in a Title I school, I can attest to the benefit for students, staff, and families. Summer academies were held based on surveys on staff interest. ELA work included work on grammar skills, alignment. Others included STEEL science, social studies, and updating asynchronous learning and book studies. Ed Tech sessions were held on Google Meet, First in Math, Seesaw, and Ed Puzzle. Induction and professional learning days, we partnered with CLIU 21 for part of the new hire inductions. The first week back for staff included training in curriculum, Amplify Science, Discovery Education, Big Ideas, IXL, First in Math, AI, and Infinite Campus. New Professional Development Day is September 22nd. For students, that's a day off. For staff, that's a busy day for improving their craft. Updates, elementary math review, thus far looking externally, they've looked at 14 options. They've narrowed it down to 7. The next review committee will be meeting September 22nd. PA Science, Tech, Engineering, and Environmental Literacy Standards, better known as STEELS, were implemented statewide in July. The Science PSSA for grades 5 and 8 and Biology Keystone will be fully STEELS aligned in 2026. Curriculum cycle this year reviews elementary. Oh, you can go to LCTI for a little bit until I get back my notes. I just went to the wrong email. So if you want to go with LCTI and I'll come
Okay,
back.
that was your mulligan. I had mine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, LCTI, we had our meeting last week. Mr. Carney was not there. He was away. We did talk about the recruitment effort in business administration that has now been secured between the business administrator and the assistant. The audit has been completed and that was delayed. We're moving onward in structure and a little bit of adjustments in the methodologies and process in the business office. We also had a review of activities in the summer. Some of which were operational excellence, professional development, which is moving through. And student services reported on a series of upgrades in the facility, including a secure vestibule, which was in planning now for at least a year, I think, which has now been executed. Some data signs so that for alerting and notifying students and staff. Exterior lighting, and there's a series of new dental equipment in the dental program that was quite old and was upgraded, and that was partially grant funded. There was also some painting and things. So they've been doing quite a lot of work over the summer. And there were some administrative retreats and visits that occurred as well through the summer. And I think that's about it. Those were some of the highlights. Now we're moving into the school year, which has been increasing in attendance since the advent of fifth grade tours that have been happening. Ms. Reinhardt, when you were on with me at the LCTI, we talked about having 5 fifth grade tours, and that's been, I think, for 2 years now, and that is pumping up the attendance. So the growth pattern is pretty significant. The other contributor to that was online applications versus the manual ones, making it much easier to not only submit but maintain. So those were some of the activities this summer at LCTI. That ends my report.
I did find the rest.
Yeah, go ahead.
In Southern Lehigh curriculum cycle, this year's reviews include elementary math, K-5 and 6th grade pilot, elementary EA renewal of resources or replacement with newer versions, world language grades 7 through 12, and world history grade 10. Our staff will be busy implementing things from last year. Big Ideas Math grades 6 to 12, Amplify Science grades 6 to 8, Discovery Education, high school chemistry and physics, BSCS biology, high school biology, and Savas US history grades 8 and 9. Our next meeting is October 6th at 4:30. I apologize that the education committee report was so long, but there is so much going on that I just want to take the time and compliment the staff for all the work that they're doing.
Yeah, I'll second that. There was a lot happening there. Dr. Trinkle, Dr. Solometto, and the rest of the administration and staff for their hard work over really more than just the summer. It's been happening onward throughout this entire year, as well as well before that last year. And all that work is starting to pay off. So thank you for your.
Absolutely. So we had our first meeting for facilities. We had a little bit of recess over the summer, allow everybody to work on some of the projects that were diligently being done. A lot of folks in the community have been privy to be able to see that there was a lot of work going on in some of our districts where you could see some cranes on any given days and some new color being brought down to the middle school. I don't know why we ever had red at Southern Lehigh when we're all blue, but we rectified that situation. But we talked about some of our projects. So just for a little bit of high level update, the updates we've been providing through the committee updates, those who've attended the committees, as well as the updates that we provided here. This past summer, we've successfully accomplished a little over $12 million in upgrades here at Southern Lehigh. Some of those projects, some major milestones: Liberty Bell, the chillers, roofing. We had the pavement that everybody is well aware of here at the high school. We had the middle school roof and the metal associated with that, and then also our high school library, which I actually just walked through again for a third time, and everything's looking pretty good there. Stopped by 2 weeks ago to have a walkthrough with Lou and Andrew, and everything's looking good, and we're very excited to get kids and teachers and folks in the building in there and utilizing that space as designed for. In our last meeting, we had EI Associates. For those of you who are not aware, EI Associates is a third-party engineering firm that we have through the school district that comes in and basically consults with what we have from a 5-year plan. So we are coming up on essentially a renewal of a 5-year plan because the last one was 4, maybe 5. I forget. I didn't write that part down, but it's coming up on renewal for 5 years. So we had them go through a lot of the stuff that they noticed through a walkthrough in all of our buildings, including the administrative building. So really what we're going to be doing, or not we, but Andrew, Lou, and team are going to be diligently going through that and identifying based on priority and based on timing and when those concerns that were brought up, how they weigh in a time schedule and what's still there versus how long it'll last. They're going to come up with a plan over the next 5 years that we can strategically work with the budget folks, figure out how we can fit those in. There was a long line of stuff. I think I heard boilers and I think I heard water softeners way too many times than I wanted to hear. But there was a lot of other stuff on there, not for anybody to be too concerned. It was a big, hefty price tag, but that's not all the stuff that's going to be accomplished in year 1 next year. There's a lot of other great things. I had a meeting with Dr. Trinkle then afterwards, and we talked a little bit about some of the exciting things that we want to start working on and thinking about here in the district. One of them being talking about the use of this space here, as well as the auditorium, and some other ideas and stuff that we have in the works and in how it falls in line with what EI came about. So we'll be working on, once again, not we, but the staff and folks here in the district will be working on putting together a plan there, and we will share that accordingly. And then as we start getting along with some of the projects, we will start in providing those updates. One of the major things that we talked about, obviously a lot of folks are anticipating the very exciting thing for next year, which is full day kindergarten. So on top of the work that Dr. Trinkle, Dr. Solometto have from an education perspective and making sure that full day kindergarten goes off without a hitch, we also want to make sure that we're tackling any of the facility requirements that are going to be necessary to make sure that the environment and building and in both Liberty Bell and Hopewell and also at the intermediate school are set up for success for our kids that are going to be making that move. So
Thanks. And then I would just add that next meeting, we will be having our next board meeting in the library, which will be our new permanent home for board meetings. Yeah, pretty sure. Oh, yeah.
Not to put you on the spot or the staff on the spot, but parents had a lot of concerns about the parking situation at the high school for students. And I know that there was some expansion of parking spaces at the middle school to allow additional capacity. Is that something, Mr. Boyer, that's on the list for further expansion? And have all of the students who have requested parking received parking? And what is the number of students who weren't able to obtain parking? And you don't have to answer that now, but
I can answer
I
the
think
first
it's
one.
something that, okay, go ahead.
So the first one in terms of the parking, so it is something that we brought up. We will be discussing about that. Nothing definitive and nothing in place. In terms of the statistics and the metrics that you're looking for that you requested, Dr. Trinkle, I just heard her say she will get back to you on that one. But it is something that we're trying not to. One of the things that we discussed, I sat down with Lou and had this conversation. One of the things that we want to make sure is that we're not looking at this in a single point of view and a siloed approach where we're going to work project to project, but looking at it holistically. Is there an opportunity to where if we're going to mobilize thousands and thousands of dollars and set contracts in place, instead of tackling one major project, is it more beneficial to maybe start grouping some of these projects together? So that way we're not handling one project, and then once we're done with that project, we handle the next one, versus if we would have handled them together, we would have maybe had a better plan and a design for that. So they got it.
Okay, I think did you have, nothing for technology, right? We're good. Okay. That ends committee reports. Do we have anybody have any new business that they'd like to bring up at this point? Mr. Carney?
Just other notes. Other?
Okay.
Oh, not new other?
New, other?
Just
Okay,
like
not
my
any
usual
new business,
comments.
First off, yep. Okay, other business.
So August 19th, U.S. News 2025-26 ranked our high school as the top non-charter high school in the Allentown metro area. We came in number 2 overall out of 40. They look at such things as college readiness. That's 30% of the grade. Qualifying AP scores, state assessment proficiency, college curriculum breadth, and graduation rate. So I was very proud of that one. Thursday, September 11th, some of the students from the high school will be continuing a tradition led by one family over the years to place flags outside of the high school for each victim of 9/11. I want to thank those students in advance who start placing those flags before dawn, and hopefully I'll be out again this year. Last thing is, today is World Literacy Day. I just finished a good book, and the quote that I wrote down is, "Librarians change lives. They may even save some." So I just want to thank our school librarians, educators, and community partners working to increase the literacy skills of our students.
Okay, any other business? All right, we have information only you can refer to in attachments for conferences. That's an A, and B is field trips. So we have a list of the upcoming field trips. And that moves us into visitor comments. Do we have any visitor comments? Okay, no visitor comments. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Appreciate the effort and the collaboration.
Yeah, I
Ms.
know
Torba,
I
yeah.
know you're
Sorry.
closing out the night, right?
That's okay. No,
I do
please.
just want to thank the board this evening for our thoughtful and meaningful engagement. The focus and the efficiency we all demonstrated as a group reflect our shared commitment to the work and the values that guide our practice. I appreciate the energy and the respect we showed towards one another. It's clear we are moving forward with purpose in the best interests of the district. So I just wanted to take a moment and thank my peers here for an efficient meeting, and the energy makes you want to do more. Thank you.
Ms. Torba, well noted. Thank you. And with that, I think I'll move to adjourn.
Motion.
Okay, Mr. Boyer, second. Ms. King, that ends the meeting. Thank you.